Well, amongst all of the exciting things happening at Le Patio 340 this summer, one thing is constant, an ever-evolving art installation that is continuously being worked on throughout the summer by a recent student of the Master of Fine Arts program at the University of Manitoba. If you're a regular listener to Morning Light, you might remember that a few months ago we visited the School of Art Gallery to hear more about the Master of Fine Arts thesis work done by Iranian-Canadian artist Maryam Bagheri. Now, Maryam is the one creating this art installation at Le Patio 340 in St. Boniface, and she joins us now to tell us more. Hello again.
Hello, hi. Thank you for having me again. Yes, this is me again now working on an installation in the Le Patio 340. It's a unique experience. I really like it. So it's weaving, but in a different way. I weave on wired fences. So it's like the loom became fence, like the wired one. That's the interesting part. So yeah, I started talking to the Fanny Lynn, who's doing this with me from Centre Culture Franco-Manitobain. So it's a unique experience again. So we were in touch, talking about what they really want for this project. So they wanted me to do weaving specifically. And then we figured out that the title, like the things that I'm going to weave on the wire, it's going to be like the name of the place, Le Patio 340. So, and plus other designs that it's going to be like a diamond shape, like a star. So we use three different colors. It's going to be yellow. It is yellow, green, and kind of purple. So yeah, so far.
You've already
This is
answered
what I'm
so many of
doing.
my questions, and we're barely out of the gate here, Maryam. This is the most efficient interview ever. Fantastic. But even before you start to make this installation at Le Patio 340, when you're having these initial conversations about this work, what sorts of ideas were you thinking about, and how did you eventually land on this project alongside the people who are working at the CCFM?
Right. So I was thinking about, like having a weaving, and while like Fanny approached me and told me that like giving me some photos, some images, like as an idea to start with. And then so they wanted to like have those specific colors because it was already in their design, like the design of the patio. So that made it easier for me to go with. And then with the other thing was for me to run a test, to see that what would it be to weave on wires, because it was different. So I had to go to the side, to examine the place, the material that I want to work with. So I had to consider, some options. And then we came up with like as an agreement with this, design that we are working on right now.
Okay. There's so much to unpack with your own artistry. Of course, when we last spoke, you spoke about weaving and reclaiming weaving as this art form that perhaps gets viewed in your culture from Iran, that it's maybe, quote, women's work, big air quotes for the people who aren't watching this on YouTube, and that this is now something that is very like it's a recognized sort of a medium. How does this medium work in a more practical, I big air quotes again, real world sort of a context away from your studies at the University of Manitoba and now
Mhm.
out in the world as part of that fencing outside Le Patio 340?
Right. So it is different, honestly. So like usually when we talk about public art, we think about painting, structures that are made out of like glass, metal, or also concrete, which are like usually in structural, constructive materials. But weaving is different, especially when you use like domestic material, like thread. It is soft material, so it's different. I think weaving can change the perception of us when we are especially outside, going out to visit each other. When we see like a form of art or a public art is being made by using soft materials such as thread, and the colors are, like a familiar colors, the things that, for example, our mother, grandmother, or our sister, using the same material to make us a jacket or a scarf or a toque. So these are, it makes us to feel more comfortable. I would say that in that place when you are, look more homey, more cozy. So Patio, Le Patio 340 is a place for people to gather. They celebrate summer, they listen to the music, they dance. So they're getting there to have a good time, to be together, to make memories. And I think the weaving that is going to be there for a while. I assume that it's going to be there for at least 2 years because of the weather, the situation here. We are in Winnipeg. We're going to have snow, harsh weather. So I hope that it's going to be there for 2 years at least.
Okay.
But that's good. It's not very expensive, consider to, if you want to make a work using, metal or glasses, or other sort of, construction materials, which are way more expensive. So compared to that, it's less expensive, but I think it's going to change the place, our emotion to the things that we're seeing.
I love the imagery of making this place where people gather together more cozy, more welcoming, more inviting. How much, when you're considering this project, how much does the vibe of Le Patio 340 influence the type of thing that you want to create? How much was the nature of the patio and everything that happens there, how much did that influence how you went about deciding what to create and indeed how to make people even feel even more welcome?
First of all, it's French community, and I have lived in Quebec for 2 years and a half. So it's just, again, for me, it's weaving memories, I would say. It's great to, gather with French people, talk to people in French. My French is not good as my, English, but anyway, I try my best to connect with them and then to talk. And so sometimes there are kids there, so I try to talk to them, and also I sometimes ask them to come and weave with me. So this is like going to be like an interactive work as well. So for them to try touch the new, this material, weave, have new experience. So again, and the place is very energetic, the music sounds is there when I'm working, which is amazing. So yeah, all sort of, things that are there, they're all together for me to create a space that for me to enjoy my time while I'm weaving.
That's so amazing to hear about the community aspect that's already existing before the piece is even fully complete. What other reactions have you been hearing from those kids that have been invited to work alongside you, or the people who are coming to enjoy Le Patio 340? What sorts of reactions have you been hearing from those who are already engaging with your art?
I think they like it, they come and at first they think probably they cannot, do anything. They can just watch me. But when I talk to them, and they see that, okay, they can experience this, they can touch this, thread, they can weave, they come close and start doing this. So even for a short period, I would say that it's going to be an amazing experience, because it was for me. You know, as I told you before, I had this experience with my grandma weaving, and those time was like the best time of my life. So I would say that for kids, it's going to be an amazing experience again.